Morning guys, welcome to another Food for Thought. Today we're actually having a food day, and it's going to be one of my favourite items. Now I've got my lovely, well actually I'm the assistant today. My wife is the one she's in charge of all this. Lovely wife, Evelyn. First time on the videos, because normally I was going to say, I'm not going on the videos. Anyway, strawberry jam, my favourite food group of all time. For 30 years of going to work, I've always taken jam on a sandwich every single day that I work. I absolutely love jam. So anyway, we're going to do strawberry jam today, and we're probably going to make some strawberry rhubarb jam today. So we'll get started and we'll just show you how we go around it, and then we're going to obviously do our canning as well. So we're doing a bit of a canning video too. So let's get started. So, honey, what do we do first?
For cig.
You're going for a cigarette first. Fab. Okay, back in a minute. Right, first thing we have to do is sterilise the jars. So we've already got our pot full of water. You basically just put the jar in, fill it with the water. And then I've got 10 jars in here. So basically I'm just gonna, now you heat it up to, what is it, honey?
180.
180 degrees. Don't boil them, you're just basically sterilising them. So we'll get this on. Just lower the basket in. So then I've got my thermometer that'll be able to test the water when we get up there. Okay? So first things first, we're going to wash them, because these are fresh strawberries just picked. We've got a farm just, I don't know, it's what, maybe 2 miles away, 3 miles away. But they're still out in the field, so that it's always a good thing. Wash them first. So anyway, so we're going to have 8 cups of strawberries, but then we crush them, and that makes up about 5 cups once they've all squashed, and then we've got sugar and whatnot. But I'll go over the recipe, and I'll put the recipe on the bottom. Put the recipe on the bottom of the introduction for each to follow. So. Obviously we have to get all the husks off. Now you can buy quarters, but it's easy enough just to get a nice sharp knife and just run round in the core. Right guys, so we're just getting ready. The temperature's just coming up for doing the jars, 180 degrees. Now, our recipe that we're following, we've got the canning book by Bernardin, sorry. It's got canning recipes for jams, soups, meats, whatever. I mean, he's got a whole load of different things. It's a fantastic book, well worth buying. Handy thing that instructions it actually comes with. We use powdered pectin. You can also get liquid pectin as well, but it's all this. You can get them all in Canadian Tire and Walmart and all the some of this different any store basically that sells jams and whatnot. Anyway, hang on, it's Certo that we use for the pectin. Now strawberry's got some natural pectin in it, but we put extra to make sure it does go. It's more like a gelatin type thing. So recipe wise, so buy the book, and it's so simple. There's really only a few, instead of all the different ingredients that you get in other jams. This is the good thing about doing your own stuff. So basically 7 cups of granulated sugar, 8 cups of whole strawberries, so once they're mashed down it's about 5 cups, and then just your pack of pectin. That's it. So we're just coming up, we're just doing that. So let me reposition the camera and we're going to start the boiling up of the jam. Now, one word of warning, because you do bring it up to a real hard boil, and you have to keep on stirring it so it doesn't burn. Obviously, it is hot. If it splatters, if it lands on you, you will get a real bad burn. I know that by experience. So please watch yourself. If you're really unsure, use oven mitts or something like that to do about it. But be careful when you're handling this, because it's actually hotter, because it's got sugar and it's boiling. It's actually hotter than boiling water. So please be careful. Right, guys. So I'll just show you what's here. So we've got the crushed strawberries. We've just put in the pectin. And we've just got the stove on. So this will take a couple of minutes to get to the boil. So once it comes to the boil, then you put your sugar in?
Yes. Yeah.
So as I say, I'm just the assistant. Now, when you're doing canning, please go by the recipe. These things are, it is a science to a degree. So it's like baking. All the ingredients have to match properly, or it doesn't work out. It's not like my type of cooking that I like is just one pot, shove anything in, and you get a meal. This kind of thing is a science, and if you don't do it properly, it won't turn out, and then you'll be very disappointed. Yeah. See, now it's come up to roll and boil. This is where I get it, because if anybody's going to get burned, it's me.
Boiling?
Yeah. So see, now it's come up to a hard roll and boil.
Right. Stop.
Now we add the sugar.
Bring it back to a roll and boil for 1 minute more time.
Yeah. So now that we've got the sugar in, obviously that'll drop the temperature just a little bit, but then so you just bring it back up to a nice hot rolling boil, and then you let it boil like that for about just 1 minute. That's all it needs, and then you do what?
Remove it off the stove.
Remove it off the stove, and then you stir for another 5 minutes. So as it's cooling down.
And you stir for 5 minutes to prevent the fruit from floating to the surface and get all the scum off the top.
Right, so the jam's just about to come off, we're almost done. So let me just quickly run through the tools that we'll need. This little tool's got a little magnet on it, where we've got the lids. We've got them in boiling water, so once that sterilising them, and you use this to lift them up so you don't burn your fingers. Plus, it keeps them sterile. You got this is a jar lifter, so you can see on the end they're curved, so you can lift the jars out of the boiling water. This little tool, you got two reasons for it. So at this end, you're going to poke it in, and it takes out the air, any air that's stuck down at the bottom when you're pouring in the mixture. And on the end, which I'll just bring that up to you, on the end you'll actually see it's got different increments. So it's increments of 1/4 of an inch. So you need that per, depending on what the recipe that you're doing, whether or not you're doing jams. Jams is only 1/4 of an inch from the top of the jar to the liquid. But you'll get some recipes for soups, or if you're doing pressure canning, you need then something like 3/4 of an inch to an inch from the top to allow that. Right, so that's the jam's all done up. So we now stir this for 5 minutes. Now, as you can see on the top, it's got like a foam kind of stuff. That's just a natural thing that always happens when you're doing fruits. It's kind of like they call it a scum, which sounds nasty, but it's not really. So you just basically I'm going to be stirring this for about 5 minutes, just to keep the fruit moving. But you'll probably find that when you're making this, once you actually put them into your jars, the actual pieces, depending on how chunky you like your jam. I like my strawberry jam quite chunky, but that's why you mash it, so it's chunky, but it's not big lumps of strawberry. But basically you're going to be putting it back into your pot and boiling it down inside the jars for 10 minutes. That sort of helps to set the jam, but you'll probably find that the pieces of strawberries will float, and if it does, it doesn't matter. It doesn't change the jam whatsoever. It just means that the jelly part of it is down at the bottom, and you can either once you open it, you can just give it a stir with a knife or whatever. But I like the chunky bits at the top and then let them go down. So to take the scum off, you just basically scoop it to one side and just use a pot, and then it's just frothy. That's really all it is. But it's just that you don't want that in your jam. But if you were to, it won't hurt you, or it won't taste bad or anything like that. It's more of a presentation thing. So now that this is all stirred up and ready, we're now taking out the jars. So you can see that they're burning hot. So to transfer it from the pot over, we use the pot lifter. But the jars cool down really reasonably quickly, so you can handle them, but they're still going to be very hot. Oh, and another tool that I forgot to show you actually was the funnel. It's a wide mouth funnel, so when you pour it in, it just goes straight through. So basically, just going to take a ladle, give it a stir as you're doing it. But we're going to leave it about 1/4 inch from the top. Check it, 1/4 inch, perfect. Once you do them, get used to it, you'll know how much you're looking into it, that you can judge it. But in general, it all depends on the size of your jars as well, of how many scoops. For these ones, to me, it's about 2.5 scoops. That one's just a little bit too much, so I just scoop some of that back out. And so you measure it, you use the end to just round the sides, and it just takes out any air that could be on the bottom. Then you take a bit of tissue or a cloth, right round the rim, because if you don't wipe round the rim and there's food on the rim, it's not going to seal. Now that doesn't matter if you're not going to can it and keep it for a long period. Because what you'll find, you might not find that all of this makes up a perfect amount of jam. You may have some stuff left over. You only maybe get half a jar, which is fine. Because putting it back in to the boiling water, that's just to seal the jars and keep them for preserves. But if you're actually just going to, the jam's finished now, so if you just want to put lids on them, that's not quite the,
Sorry.
Right, so once you're doing this, once you get them to the last of it, if you find that there's jam left over in your pot, don't worry about it. All you need to do is put it in another jar and set it aside, because as you're going through all of this, you'll find that you will have some left over that you won't have a perfect full jar. But that's fine, because those jars can just get set aside, let the jam solidify, and then you use those jars first. And if you find that you haven't put a seal on it properly by wiping off any food residue, use those cans first as well. Once you see that once they come out of the water, and we'll show you that on another set, but just after this, you'll see the lid, the centre of it will pop. It's domed and it'll pop down, and that'll tells you basically that it's caused a vacuum and it's sealed it. And those are the ones that you actually put downstairs or into your cupboard or whatever you want to save them. And that's the ones that you put away for a long period.
A bit too much.
A little bit. You see, this is one that we got from earlier, and I'll just keep on topping this one up until it's full. because we don't have enough jars, and there wasn't enough here to make up another full jar. Right, so you can see that's the finished batch. I was just showing this one is the last one to pop. Well, hopefully it'll pop within just a sort of second.
Did it?
Right, so that's the pop that you're looking for. That one still hasn't gone yet. Yeah. So that one I just popped there just now. Anyway, but that's what you're waiting for. You can still see that that's not done yet. It'll pop any second now. But if that wasn't to pop and pulled down, okay, it creates the vacuum. That doesn't really matter because you would just use that pot first. So, but that's it. So anyway, turn you around. So that's our video done for making jam. Want to thank my wife, Evelyn. So I want to thank her for coming on this journey with me, wanting to do the video on how to actually do some making jam and doing the canning. So thanks very much, guys, and have a great summer.